Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, collectors of all ages, it is Aussieverse and we are back. And this time it is to celebrate Wild North Comics and their latest Kickstarter celebrating Kane Gallagher and the Underclass. I am Omnibo. This is the sheriff around these parts. And we also have single issue Steve. We are sponsored by Comic Bookaroo. A word from them later. But first, Steve wants to see who these people are.
Yes, I do. These are our magnificent four-lifers. We love these people. We've got young Byron. He's a bit of good value, that young fella. Our favourite, I shouldn't say favourite. We've got, all of them are favourites. Vander's a bit of strange. Simple Simon, RJE72, OG Shaggerback, KJB, Ben Sullivan, Excelsior, Cliff on Comics, Ali, Azrael 85 Collectibles, Rob Fat Stacks of Comics, and still only 35 cents. And any of those ones you see that have the YouTube logo next to them, they actually have their own channel. So make sure you go and check them out.
And if you want to join be a four-lifer, you can click the link and get in there now. It gets you into an Instagram chat, gets you onto some live streams, your own emojis, and a bunch of other stuff like that. If you don't want to spend $1, but you do want to support Aussieverse, the best way to do that is just subscribing. Subscribe away, watch the content. Now, enough of the plug and let's get down to the loving. Kane, sir, thank you for reaching out. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Fantastic. Well, I have heard of Wild North Comics for a little while now, but I've got to be honest, I don't know much about them. So please, let us know.
Well, basically, Wild North Comics started in Darwin. That's why it's called Wild North. It was made in the Northern Territory. So I've only just come on board the end of last year. So I'm the newest artist and writer they're publishing. But it was started by three guys. And one of them is an Indigenous guy, and he makes his own comics, which are pretty cool. Another guy is Timothy Parrish. He's my editor. And the other guy I haven't met yet, and I forget his name right now, but they're all pretty good artists. They're all pretty great writers, in my opinion. And yeah, it's great to have someone representing my work and believing in what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah, good on you. All right. So we hear about the Underclass. Now, guys, you had a look at this as well. What were your first thoughts?
I looked at it and I thought, I've never seen anything like this before. So that was probably the big thing that really stood out for me, Kane. It's a completely different kind of story, and it's set in a school environment. I'm not going to say too much because you obviously want to talk about it, but just the violence and all that sort of stuff. It's just something really different, and that's probably the biggest thing that grabbed me straight away.
Well, yeah. I didn't get the opportunity to look through it yet, so this is going to be a reaction video as well.
Okay, cool.
Well, it certainly is reaching its goal. It's halfway. I'm assuming it had started at about 30 days.
Yes, it did, yeah.
Yeah, so it's halfway through. Let's see if we can get it over the line. And our mate Darren, you can see right there, is a backer. Look at him go. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
So looking at this, what am I looking at?
Well, this is the bottom half of one of the covers. So there's two covers. This is the alternate cover. I illustrated this. So I do line work, like intricate line work, but I also do digital paintings. So those are kind of the two things that I specialize in. So this is straight from a scene out of the pages of the book. It's towards the end. It's when two rival gangs that are in the school, the two largest gangs in the school, have basically an all-out war, and the school catches fire and chaos ensues.
That just looks like Tuesday in my high school.
Yeah, I've had some people say that, funnily enough. I talked to a guy from America. He said, my high school experience wasn't far off that. We had to go through metal detectors, and I saw guys get stabbed all the time. I was like, Jesus, mate. I mean, I thought I was creating fantasy here, or, horror.
Well, to be fair.
Crap. What school did you go to?
Yeah, there was no fire.
Yeah.
Stabbing.
All right. So let's take a look and see what this is all about. So, Kane, if people are watching this, they have no idea what this book is about. What is the sales pitch? Sell it to me. Why do I want this book?
Okay, essentially, it's a story set in a high school that teaches kids to be criminals. So that's not just, that's not the story, but that's the setting. So the story is basically, it's 4 short stories about different students throughout this school that are trying to survive it. And they're put there for different reasons because of different circumstances, and they don't really belong there. So they got to figure out, okay, do I become just as violent as the people that are in here with me? Or do I retreat? Do I hide? How do I survive? And it's kind of like, the way I like to put it is, it's Sin City set in a high school. Yeah.
So it's gonna be just based on the bottom half of that cover, and it's pretty brutal.
Yes, it's extremely violent. Yes, it's not for children. It's 18 plus, 100%. I didn't want to pull any punches. There was maybe one scene that I had to cut or at least change. After 2 rounds of editing, I had 2 professional editors look at it, and it was maybe a little bit too extreme. I might have pushed the envelope a little bit too far with that one, but everything else is still like completely like bonkers nuts. Yeah, it's got everything in it.
I just wanted to highlight that it is 80 pages, which in this day and age is about 4 comics. So you're getting, if you bought a Marvel or DC book, that's 4 comics for one, really. Which is funny because it says it's containing 4 stories. So that means, they're 4 pretty much full issues in one.
Yeah. Well, not every story is the same length, but the first story is split up into 2 chapters. So it's the first part of the book and it's the last part of the book. So that's the longest one. But every story is, self-contained almost, but the characters do cross paths with each other's stories, almost like Pulp Fiction,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
And obviously, mate, you talked about as I mentioned as well, it's just a really different sort of story. As I said, I've never seen anything like it before. So you talked a little bit about your schooling. So was that part of your inspiration to write this, or what else inspired you to put this together?
Well, I mean, I started writing this when I was a lot younger, and I went through a lot of, learning how to draw better. So the first iteration of this, I was completely playing with a completely different artistic style. And eventually this is the style that I settled on, which is my favorite style, which is hyper detail. It's kind of like Jeff Darrow, But I think everybody can relate to being bullied in high school, and this is just taking that to the extreme. What would you do to fight back? And what if it was the worst school in the world? You know what I mean? That's what I tried to create, the worst school in the world in the worst city in the world. And eventually the sequel will expand into the city and we'll see why the school exists.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Is it a different variant cover?
It was going to be, but we only ended up having two covers. But that is some of the gallery art at the end, at the back of the book. It's because I did so many covers. I did like 10 covers, and we had to just choose a couple. I just kept going and going. But that's so I did like a painted cover for each chapter, and I did a line art cover for each chapter. But that was the painted version for one of the stories called Death Race, and it's about a skate race that goes on in the high school every year. So it's like Sports Carnival Day, but it's just one skateboard race, and anybody can enter. And the prize is the gangs leave you alone for a whole year. So you don't have to pay any tax. You don't have to get bullied. You don't have to get hurt. You don't get beat up. You get nothing. But The catch is there's traps all through the course, and they can kill you. So if you make it to the end, you're lucky. So it's almost like winning the lottery, but it's kind of like Running Man, you know. If you win, you're sorted, but it's a risk.
I'm loving this page.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh yeah.
Talking about hyper realistic artwork, I'm just trying to look at it, and the level of detail, the creases on the uniforms, the shading that is being incorporated in that.
I'm trying to go closer. There we go.
Yeah. What's the what's the process like?
Well, it's a lot of references. I love references because there's a lot of stuff that I never knew how to draw. And, you know, the best way to learn how to draw something is to find a picture of it or take a picture of it, you know.
Yeah.
Like a lot of stuff, you know, I use myself as a model for a lot of things. And I'm a skater, so I know how skaters move, you know.
Right. Okay.
But, yeah, you know, things, you know, perspective. I use a lot of like 3D models and stuff for backgrounds. So I know exactly where people need to be in relation to the size of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
cool.
that one you can see, you know, I created that whole staircase. That's essentially the entrance to the school, but that's just a part of the race that they have to go through. And as you can see in the top corner, that guy, you know, met an unfortunate end with that spike trap down the stairs. But yeah, I created all the backgrounds with a 3D program. Yeah.
And even with this bottom panel here, it's bottom looking up, whereas cover A for the book is from top down. I just love the angles and the perspectives, man.
Yeah, I was about to say something. The perspective is brilliant.
Yeah, thanks, man. That one was really fun to do because it really looks like the board's coming at you. You know, I love to do splash pages like that. I didn't get enough opportunity to do that in this one because it was really my first book, so it was like a learning experience. But the next one I've already started making, and there's going to be a lot more of that sort of stuff, a lot more splash pages, a lot of double page spreads. But yeah, it's really fun to do that.
I love the realism in the board itself, how it's got such chipped paint and
Yeah.
scratches, you know, like that's pretty much every board I've seen, you know?
Yeah. If you're a real skater, you've got to have dings and chips all over it, mate, you know?
Yeah, that's really cool, man.
So that's one of the textbooks.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So each chapter starts with a textbook page and then a chapter cover. So each chapter's textbook page relates to what's going to happen in that chapter. So there's a chapter called Knife Fight, and that's the textbook page that comes before that chapter. So yeah, it's just showing you kind of, you know, a little look into the world that they're in and the things that they get taught.
Man,
I have to ask a question, mate. What are the teachers like at this school?
Well, that's the thing. The school is, you know, it's essentially run by the mafia. So the school is there to teach criminal organizations, kids, how to, you know, essentially be successful in the crime world. And then there's, you know, there's 2 local gangs that go there, and then there's local kids that go there that aren't affiliated at all. So it's almost like a prison, you know.
Yeah.
But the local kids in the local gangs, they only get taught the bare essentials of how to get by as a criminal. Whereas the sponsored ones, they get taught how to really become successful and how to be, you know, you could potentially become the don of a crime family if you learn enough, you know. But the teachers, you know, they're selected by the criminal organizations. They all agree, okay, these are going to be the teachers. We don't fuck with this school. We don't let our students, you know, fight each other, which, you know, sometimes they do anyway. But, you know, we agree we're all going to put them in this school. And then when they come out, then they'll be trained to fight each other, you know.
So who wrote this paragraph? Because I think you might need to keep your eye on whoever that is in your team.
Oh, right. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Yeah, that was me. I mean, there's a lot of those pages were, fun to
Oh, I
create,
love it.
but yeah, a lot of work to put together to fit. You really got to look at textbooks and go, okay, where can I fit the paragraphs around the images?
Yeah, no, I think this is really well done. This is brilliant.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And then you've got the two. I saw before you had the two women fighting as well, which is cool. And now you've got a splash page as well of them two fighting or starting the fight.
Yeah, so that was that's another example of what was going to be a cover. So that's it was originally just a line page, and then I put a whole bunch of the line page covers and then colored them, and now I put them in the back as gallery art pages, and that's another one.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. I like that one a lot too.
Yeah, that is cool.
So that
Yeah,
guy's he's from a chapter called Sophomore Serial Killer, and I think that one's my favorite. Although most people say I like the freshman the best because that really explains the world the best. But I liked writing that character. It was very brutal and violent and fun to play with.
Is that one of Green Lantern's girlfriends?
Yeah.
Power Rangers stuck to their cupboard.
Yeah.
Actually, just talking about using images and things and basing some stuff off images and things that you've seen, mate. That the cover with the punch.
Yeah.
Is that based on Pantera's Vulgar Display of Power album cover?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I think it was in the back of my mind when I was making it. I was just trying to make something that looked cool and explained, action, because that was the start of the chapter, obviously. And then immediately after, you flip the page, and then it's like him hitting the ground and then getting kicked on the ground, So it was like step by step by step. But we needed something bang straight away. But yeah, I would say it was an inspiration, yeah. And funnily enough, when I posted that on Instagram, just the line art version, some guys, a pretty well-known band in America, they were in like the top 40 or something a couple of years ago. They reached out to me and they asked me if they could use it for one of their singles as a cover. And I was like, yeah, okay, if you pay me. And they did.
Oh, good job.
well done.
Yeah, cheers.
Good work, mate. That's brilliant.
Thanks.
This is
with it on.
Look at that.
This is gorgeous.
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, I love doing digital illustrations, but they take me the longest, I would say, because painting light, it takes so long. But it's great when it's done, and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, that stuff, because I grew up reading stuff like Preacher, and the covers of Preacher were always so good, man. So I really try to emulate that sort of style, and a lot of Frank Frazetta, stuff like that. Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah, so good.
Bloody hell. Oh, sweet. Okay. We always love this tier. How many how many slots do you have for this one?
We have 20 available. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a lot. Yeah.
There's 2 double page spreads. They're going to be at the beginning of the book and at the end. So it's essentially a yearbook, and you can get your face in there, and you can get a quote and your name. And those are the examples.
Oh, that's very cool, Kane.
That's cool. That's cool. I like that. I like that.
I've already got 5 people that signed up for that one so far, so there's still room.
Omnibo will slap you with a comic.
Yeah.
No, an omnibus. Jeez.
Yeah. Not a comic.
Wrap around.
Yeah, so that's the main cover.
Yeah.
That's the cover we settled on because I think it really shows the art style that's inside, and it shows all of the characters. So those 4 characters that are in color, they are the main characters of each story, essentially.
Okay.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And then we always love rewards, don't we? So we haven't even gone through the tiers, which we will. But the rewards, let's see here. There are some amazing items available. PDF copy of the Underclass and additional free comics. Excellent.
Yeah, so I've got a couple of people that offered some comics up. One of them is the guys from Nation Comics. They offered up Gods Among Men, which is a great book.
Yeah, man.
So you can get that with this. So you get 3 comics in one. And
Cool.
I'm working right now on getting some more for some stretch goals. I've already got a few, but yeah, we're going to get some more.
And an adult colouring book.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's called Full Bloom.
Maximum Volume, the extreme art of Kane, his own art book. People love that stuff, man.
Because when I hooked up with these guys from Wild North Comics, they actually had a competition running. So they had 2 competitions. One of them was to submit your comic to get published, and the other one was submit some art for an art competition. And I won both of them. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then they started going through my portfolio, and they said, you have so much work that nobody's seen. We could make another art book out of this. We'll publish that too. I was like, all right. And then they started seeing all my intricate line work, and they said, okay, why don't we take away the color and put that in a coloring book, and we'll sell that too. And I was like, that's a brilliant idea. Okay, what
Wow, yeah. Yeah, man. And
It's,
what?
no way. It's
Oh,
great
yeah.
project.
Back, yeah, I just got some printed. So they've got some of the artwork from Maximum Volume.
Wow.
They're looking really cool. Yeah.
That is cool.
Wow. All right. So you can also get prints and Wild North bundle graphic novels and Wild North anthology comics 1 to 7 as well.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the anthology.
Oh yeah.
and last but definitely not least, original digital art commission by Kane himself.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Fantastic. All right.
Yeah.
So before we go into these tiers, we do want to have a word from our sponsor. That is Comic Book Aru. But before we do, we also want to remind you that the CBC Awards are back. This is the Comic Book Community Awards. Sorry, CBCA, I think it's a full word. Anyway, there's the website, cbcawards.org. Go check it out. Even if you're not voting for Aussieverse, go vote for your favorite YouTube channels in their respective categories, because there are many, many YouTubers out there that deserve their recognition.
Stop. You just us. So vote for us. Not vote for everyone else. Yeah, well, stop it. Stop it. It doesn't work.
You already are, so don't.
We talked about this the other day. Second place is first loser. We don't want to be first loser.
Okay. I apologize.
Vote for us.
Here's a word from our sponsor, Comic Book Aru.
Comic Book Aru, proud sponsors of Aussieverse for all your comic book needs. Graphic novels, hardcovers, omnibuses, single issues. Don't forget to pre-order every Sunday at Comic Book Aru.
Your number one online comic store where you get bags and boards together with your comics. If you buy more and more, you could build a box and have all of them shipped together, one shot, and save, because that's what you want to do.
Well done. Okay, let's go through some tiers. All right. So let's see here. You know what? I think I like to go into this view. Yeah, is this better? Or the other one?
Yeah.
That's
now I get to pick, because now I get to pick my pledge. So you get the physical copy, cover A. Okay. So that is $25. And you know what the best part about this is? We don't need no stinking conversion. It's $25. That's it. $25. And obviously shipping. That gives you a digital download, the Underclass, and the physical copy of Cover A. Then you've also got just the PDF pack for just $6. That gets you the digital download of the Underclass as well as Killaroo from our good buddy Darren, and that is Scars.
Nice.
And also some comic that we've never spoken about on this show called Gods Among Men, and Fox and Hound issue 1, all digital.
Yeah.
That's a bargain.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It really is, actually. Cover B, same price, but different cover. Pick your cover. Which one? I don't know which one I'm going for yet. You can get the painted cover, $45. That gives you the physical copy of A and B, the wraparound and the painted cover. That's a pretty good
Yeah.
combo.
So if you don't know which one to choose, get both.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Or if you are a Maximum fan, you want the Maximum bundle. That is $75. That gives you the digital downloads, the physical copies of the wraparound, the painted cover, the full bleed coloring book, and the Maximum volume art book.
Jeez.
Pretty good value, I think.
Great baby.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, art books alone would be, I don't know, I've seen $50 for art books. Coloring books, I don't know, but I'm guessing, 20, 30, 40, I really don't know. But anyway, very good value. Wild North Comics Anthology Bundle, $150. Look at all of that. I don't need to read all of that to you.
That's a lot. How good's that?
Yeah.
It's a lot of anthologies with a lot of good different Australian creators. They're all very talented. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Beauty. Also, retailer bundles, 10 copies. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And the Maximum Art Collection for $160. Wow, okay, that's
yeah. Those
so
ones,
free shipping A2 art prints.
yeah, they're done on really nice paper, and they are just 3 images that are plucked out of the art book. So those images are in the art book, but those will be A2 prints if you want to get those separately so you can hang them on your wall.
Sweet. And of course, the draw yourself in, baby. That's $200 and you get immortalized.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, you'll be in there forever for every print run.
And the Wild North Creators Bundle, also for $200. That gets you a shit ton too.
Yeah. Those are all graphic novels, all done by different creators. We sell them at conventions already. Some of them, one of them is just being printed now, our latest one called Chimera, Chronicles of Chimera. And that one's really cool. It's like really Japanese style, kind of set in the future about like human animal hybrids. It's really cool.
Oh,
Wow.
sweet.
That's cool.
Big fan of Dr. Moreau, so that's up my alley.
Yeah.
And the skateboard bundle. That's not what it's called, but that's just what I'm calling it. $230. Jeez. That's so cool.
Yeah,
It's
thanks,
so
man.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can hang them on your wall if you want, but they definitely work as skateboards too. We're using real Canadian maple. We got them printed from a skateboard manufacturer in China that does professional skateboard printing for some pretty big skateboard companies. And yeah, a lot of really hyper detailed artwork on those boards that just looks awesome.
Original art commission as well. Look at that. $500 gets you this soon to be legendary piece.
Yeah, it's I'm willing to put in a lot of work for this, and yeah, you won't be disappointed. A lot of line work, a lot of really crazy, intricate line work. I love doing that sort of stuff.
All right. Well, I want to grab the issue, so let me go back. Make sure we're all seeing the same page still. Yes, we are. Okay. So what have we got here? So you've got, no, I don't want the PDF. I want A. Right. Okay. So the wraparound's the standard, right?
Yeah, that's the cover art. Yeah.
And then you've got B. Okay. So one of these two. So I'm going to go back and check out. Okay. So we've got, hey, how do I feel about this one? Or two. Where's the other one? There we go.
Yeah, we've got them side by side. Yeah.
All right, go around the room. Sharif, if you're picking a cover, which one would it be, dude?
A. It's just those 4 splashes of color amongst the black and white.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder.
Exactly the same for exactly the same reasons. I love that concept of the 4 main characters being singled out amongst the sea of black and white. It's very cool.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. I do. And I do agree. But I just can't get over this bloody fight scene.
Yeah, that's awesome, isn't it?
And just to up it as well with, it is a hard choice. It is a very hard choice.
Well, you can get both if you really want.
That is true. That is true. I'm going to go this. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. So while I do that,
Kane, how much different? How much different is it from between traditional artwork and digital? Do you prefer one over the other?
I've been doing digital for so long, I don't know any other way. It just makes my life so much easier. I mean, obviously, when I first started drawing, it was straight on paper. But since I went to TAFE to learn illustration and graphic design, they taught us how to do it digitally, and I never looked back because, it's so much easier to erase a mistake. You don't have to get the eraser out. You don't have to mess up your page. You don't have to accidentally tear something. You just go Control Z and it deletes the line that you just did. You're done. You can do it over and over and over.
So we've got the website here as well.
Yeah. And on that website, on that webpage, you can download a free preview of it. So it's the first chapter, which is the first half of the freshman story. And we've got a trailer as well.
Yep. And every single person that comes on here always tells me that the music is going to be fine. And then I get an email saying that it's not fine. So it's up to you because I don't mind playing it, but that probably just means Russia won't be able to see it.
Oh, right.
So that's your call, bro. That's your call.
Yeah. I mean, there's not any there's not much, vocals in it. It's more instrumental, but there is a little bit of vocal in the background. I don't know how loud it's.
It's all about who owns it.
Oh, who owns it? No, it's a free. We got it from a free website. I forget what it was called.
Okay. Philbo said the same thing, but let's go.
Yeah. Okay.
High school's tough, no matter what school you go to. But Alva High is the worst of the worst. And if you're not part of a gang, you're pretty much screwed.
4 proven tales of revenge and survival. School's in session, and the cost of failure is your life.
Man, this looks fucking sick.
Can I just say that one of the pages earlier with 3 vertical panels, and you've got the characters going from one panel to the next, it just, oh man, that just shows the movement, and obviously how you're supposed to read it. I think that's a clever way of doing it.
Yeah, thanks, man. Again, I like having things jump out of the page and jump out of the panel, and that one was fun to play with because it really looked like they were going around a corner and essentially coming really close to the reader, which was a lot of fun to create.
And last but not least, of course, we have Facebook. You can also probably find them on other social medias and other things as well, but we'll only show Facebook for tonight's purposes. Wild North Comics. There we go. Already following these guys. And you can see all of their shenanigans, which they do quite a bit. Because like I said, I had heard of this these guys before Kane reached out. But I don't know if I have a relationship with anybody there or not before, or if I've just seen them and their posts or what. But they look really good. They look like they do a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, they do. They even have an Indigenous program. They teach Indigenous kids how to draw and stuff, and they just ran a competition to find an Indigenous artist to publish, and there was a whole bunch of entries, and I've had a look at some of them, and they're really, really talented. I'm like, how are these kids not published already? It's crazy stuff.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, there you go. Black Power Comics. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So where does it go from here? Once this comic is done, what's your hopes with the title in general? Is it going to be just a few one shots? Is it going to be an ongoing? Are you going to do something completely different? What's your future?
Well, as I said, I'm already working on the second one. Originally, I was planning on making it go for like 6 graphic novels. I might put it down to 3 now instead, because I was kind of going into the weeds with my ideas, and I was going to make it go into the future and then into a cyberpunk future. And then my editor said, okay, maybe you're crossing genres there a little bit too much. I was like, okay. But so I'll probably go with 3 books. And so the series is called Requiem for the Lost. You can see it's written up there really small. So the next one is going to be called The Unseen. Sorry, The Unknown. And as I said, it's going to expand more into the city, and it's going to follow one of the characters as a grown-up in the city after they've come out of the school. But I can't tell you which character it is because it's going to be a mystery until the end.
All right. Well, I'm sold.
Okay.
Very cool. He's very cool.
Yeah. Usually I either know about these books beforehand and have already pledged, or I've looked them up before the interviews and then just done it. But it's only been, I think, maybe 2, maybe 3 times I've done it straight off the bat, just by the interview. So it's really, really cool, man. Really, really cool.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I mean, it's good to finally get it out there after years of working on it alone, and then having, being rejected by so many publishers, and then finally finding one. It's kind of a dream come true. So yeah, thanks.
Well, it must have been a bit of a hard sell, actually, now that you say that, because on paper, anyway, because how do you? I'm just thinking out loud. How do you sell a comic book with the on-paper premise of the school and the fighting and all that, which can sound so generic and so many times that's been done, but you can't tell them what you're actually wanting to do with that story without giving it all away as well. How did you end up pulling that off eventually with all those rejections?
Well, I mean, as you said, I think there was a lot of there are a lot of similar projects out there. Like I think Deadly Class was a pretty similar one, the closest one to this. And I didn't find out about that until I was pretty much done with this book. But which was interesting. But I think there's enough difference here where it doesn't matter, because mine isn't really the same. It's not about just teaching kids to be assassins. This school teaches you to be everything, to be a drug dealer, to be a pimp, to be, anything that is done in the criminal world. And it's really, it's about the students that aren't a part of that world, that it focuses on. It's about that. But yeah, pitching it to publishers, I think that kind of didn't help, that there was already that book out there. Obviously, Image would have seen my pitch. Of course, everyone pitches to Image. Why wouldn't you? And they would just much like Deadly Class. No, you know what I mean? Like, straight away. But I think people who actually took time to sit down and read it, they realise, oh, it's actually completely different. So,
well, that's the perfect answer, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. That's man, fantastic. All right, have you guys got anything else for Kane?
No, look, I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it, mate, and having a read.
Thanks,
Got
mate.
a pledge for that one. Yeah, it looks very cool, mate. Very, very cool. And as I said, a really, really different story. I've never read anything like that before, so I'm looking forward to getting that and sinking my teeth into it.
Yeah, awesome. I hope you enjoy it, mate. Yeah.
I will.
Definitely.
I was waiting for more from you. Sorry, Sharif. You just led me on there like a freaking bitch. Okay. Now, Kane, look, seriously, thank you very much for reaching out. You're the one that initiated this. And from that, I'm really glad that you did, because not only have you sold us on a new comic book, but I'm actually really hoping to get it and read it and see what all the bits and pieces are in between. Anytime you have anything else that you want to come on and talk about, please reach out again.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's great to meet you guys finally. And I'm sure I'll be at conventions again soon in Melbourne. So yeah, if you guys are going, come down and check out some stuff. Yeah,
that'd be awesome, mate. He's not in Melbourne.
Oh, right. Where are you at?
Brisbane.
Brisbane. Okay. Well, I might be going to Brisbane soon too anyway, so maybe I will.
There you go.
Doing the tours, mate. I'm going everywhere.
Doing your rounds.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the last question we're going to be asking you today, Kane, is the same question we ask everybody before they leave. Sir, if I said to you, what is Aussieverse? What's your answer?
It's the Australian universe, I guess.
You know what? No one's said that, have they?
No.
First one.
No, they haven't.
Yeah. Because you know why? Because you're wrong, Kane. No. Aussieverse, yeah, okay, you're kind of right. But no, you're wrong. Aussieverse is and always will be for life. Catch you next time.
All right. See you later.